Total War III can look a little intimidating for new players. The tutorial prologue campaign does a great job of walking players through all the new systems and mechanics one by one. So if you're interested in the full learning experience, that is absolutely the way to go. Total War III is currently running a free weekend up through the 14th, so you can try the game completely for free, and the game is also 33% off during this free weekend, so there is no better time to buy. And you can check the link in the description for more details on that. And with the free weekend currently going on, we figured what better time to give a good overview of everything Total War III has to offer. I'm Matt with Bowles, and this is Total War III. For the sake of this video, we're going to be focusing on the base Total War III game as you might find through the single-player campaign. Total War III has many different systems all wrapped up in one game. There's the turn-based parts where you'll be moving your heroes around the map, exploring new territory, and engaging in combat. There are roleplay elements of leveling up your heroes with new skills and equipment. Then there's the actual combat itself, which is real-time with pause. Then there are economic portions where you are managing your settlements, upgrading buildings, researching new technologies, and more. Like I said, there is a lot to this game, but we are going to break each system down into easily digestible chunks. So be sure to check the video chapters if you want to jump to one specific system. And remember, if you're ever in the game and finding yourself a little lost, nearly every panel has a small info button in the top right corner. Clicking on this button will give you a quick reminder of all the pieces of that panel and what they mean. When you boot up a new campaign of Total War III, you will initially find yourself on the world map. The map section is turn-based, so take all the time you need. Here, your heroes will be able to freely roam around the map. To select any hero, simply left-click on them, or their banner. When you do so, you will see a little blob indicating their movement range for that turn. Right-clicking on any location will move the selected hero to that location. You'll notice in the lower left is the currently selected hero's profile picture. As they move, the meter around their picture will decrease, showing the amount of movement they have left this turn. Items, abilities, and things like that can affect a hero's movement, so keep that in mind as you're planning out your next few turns. Here you will find your missions and victory conditions, both of which are considered objectives. Missions are more short-term objectives that will grant rewards for completing them. Often, you will complete many missions before completing one victory condition. Missions can be pinned, which will stick the objective to the side of the screen for easy reference. Completing all of your victory conditions is how you win the campaign, so they're important to keep in mind. Along the top of the map screen is your Treasury. Maintaining your economy is key for long-term growth and success. Clicking on the button will open the Treasury screen panel, where you can review your current income and expenditures. You'll gain income mostly through settlements under your control, and most of your expenditures will go to maintaining your army. As your kingdom grows, you will start having more and more that you'll be needing to do each turn. Rather than having to remember each and every little thing, the game provides helpful reminders in the lower right corner. The text under this panel shows a possible recommended action, such as when a hero has movement points remaining, or a settlement can construct or upgrade a new building, or other similar things. If you don't want to take that action, the button just to the right will skip that suggestion and move on. As soon as all of these actions are performed or skipped, the button switches to the hourglass, which will end your turn. Throughout Total War III, you will control different types of characters. These can be heroes or lords. Like heroes, lords can equip magic items and ancillaries, and they can roam freely around the map on their own, but they can also join one of your heroes in their army, as well as level up their own set of skills. Understanding the skills of all your heroes and lords, and seeing how they will synergize and work in tandem with one another is a great way to have a strong army and economy. There are many factors with which you can customize your heroes. All of the details about a hero can be found on their profile screen. This can be found by clicking on the Character Details button by their profile picture. After winning battles, completing missions, and such, you will sometimes find magic items or ancillaries. Both of these must be equipped before they will have any effect. Heroes can have an armor, a weapon, a talisman, and an enchanted item equipped. Similarly, a hero can have up to 6 ancillaries. Very broadly, most items will enhance a hero's combat skills, and ancillaries will provide bonuses outside of combat. Followers you gain throughout the campaign will be considered ancillaries. Followers are non-combatant units that will aid your hero with a wide variety of new bonuses and buffs. This icon on your global pool means that you have a new item to review, while the same icon on your equipped items means that there's an item of higher rarity available. Many heroes will have hero actions that they can perform outside of combat. Some of these abilities are always active, while others require a target of your choosing. To use a targeted ability, have the hero selected and then right-click on the intended target. A panel will appear at the bottom with the hero ability being ready to use. Most of these abilities will only have a percentage chance of success, but that percentage can be improved by leveling up the associated skill. Hovering over the hero action will give better details on how that action is used, what it will do, as well as its chance of success. Throughout the story campaign, you will run into points where you are presented with an option of how to proceed. These story elements will change your hero's traits. Hovering over each of the buttons will provide a little more context as to the choice you are making, but not necessarily the exact results. So be sure to review both of these before making your final choice. Often, these choices will result in your hero gaining or improving a trait. Traits are small bonuses applied to that hero. You can see all of your hero's traits on their character screen. As your heroes engage in combat, they will gain experience, rank up, and gain skill points for you to spend. Clicking on this button on their profile picture will open up the skills panel. Skills are a great way to customize your hero, for them to perform in a certain way that best suits your specific style of play. Each block is a separate skill. Clicking on a skill will rank that skill up. The bubbles on the right of each skill show how many times that skill can be ranked up, with each new rank increasing the effectiveness of that skill. Skills can improve the hero in combat, or their abilities outside combat, with improved leadership, mobility, economic benefits, and more. Some skills will be locked off and cannot be leveled up, as indicated by the padlock icon and the skill block being grayed out. This could be due to the fact of the hero not having a high enough rank to begin with, or because the hero first needs to learn previous skills in that tree, as indicated by the arrows showing the path of that skill tree. From this screen, you'll also be able to review your hero's traits and abilities to get a good sense of what areas they could improve upon, or what strengths they might want to bolster even further. Dotting the map will be many settlements. To move a hero into a settlement, have a hero selected with left click, and then hover over that settlement. Hovering over any settlement or character, they will gain a colored outline. A settlement or character that is under your control will be outlined in green. One that is controlled by an enemy will be outlined in red. Those controlled by allies will be in a light blue, and neutral settlements will be a light gray. All of these colors can be changed in the gameplay settings. If the settlement is currently neutral, you will be given the option to occupy that settlement, bringing it under your control. And later, when moving your hero out of a settlement, click on the hero's banner to select them. Notice how hovering over the banner and the settlement will highlight differently. With your hero selected, you can right-click wherever you need to move them out of that settlement. Your settlements will be the main driving force of your economy. Every settlement has a level. This is determined by the settlement's main building, as shown on the column on the left. This has a number of benefits. First, it unlocks additional building slots, up to a certain number per settlement. A settlement can only have a certain number of buildings constructed within it. These are that settlement's building slots. In this example here, this settlement has 6 building slots in total, however, only 3 of them are currently usable. Once the settlement reaches level 3, another building slot will become available, and a new building can be constructed in that slot. Upgrading and constructing any building will require spending resources. The second benefit of leveling up your settlement is it unlocks higher levels of upgrades for each of the buildings in that settlement. This cap is indicated by the blue line running across the screen. A settlement's level will also improve its garrison, which represents the army that will defend that settlement if it becomes under siege. Leveling up your settlement requires a population surplus. When you have a settlement selected, its growth will be displayed in the lower left corner. Each settlement will gain a number of growth points per turn. The more growth a settlement has, the faster it grows in population. Each time the circle fills up, the settlement will gain a population surplus. The hourglass icon next to it indicates how many turns it will be until that happens. Hovering over the next level of main building within a settlement will show how much population surplus is required to construct that upgrade. Doing so will spend that population surplus. The hammer icon on any building slot indicates that the building there can be upgraded. And this specific icon shows that the building slot is currently unused and can have a new building constructed there. Each of the different buildings you can construct within a settlement will provide different bonuses to that settlement and to your army as a whole. They could provide income each turn, improve how quickly that settlement grows and therefore levels up, or it could provide new types of units for you to recruit into your army, and plenty more. Each building will take a certain number of turns to be constructed, as indicated by the hourglass icon here. When constructing buildings, keep in mind what the function of that settlement might be. It might be more advantageous to have one settlement focus on more military applications, while another focuses more on higher levels of income. But there's no right or wrong answers when it comes to how you want to construct your settlements. It's up to you, it's your kingdom after all. Keeping your settlement upgraded is key to have a strong economy, which in turn will allow you to maintain a stronger military, which is the name of the game after all. As you gain more and more settlements under your control, reviewing the region management panel can be helpful for getting from one settlement to the next easily. Of course, one of the main systems in Total War III is combat. With one of your heroes selected, hovering over an enemy hero or settlement will switch your cursor to the sword icon, indicating that approaching this with right-click will initiate combat. Before any combat begins, you will be presented with this pre-combat summary screen. On either side of the screen are both heroes' profile pictures and their armies. Hovering over basically anything on this screen will provide additional details about whatever it is you're hovering over. Furthermore, any description box with the small plus icon in the corner indicates that maintaining that hover for just a second longer will provide with even more details. For any combat that is not a narrative part of the campaign, you will also have the option to auto-resolve the battle. In the battle deployment panel, it will show the likelihood of victory as well as the estimation of your casualties. Clicking on the auto-resolve button here will have the game complete the battle for you instantly. Even in a decisive victory, it is always better for you to resolve the battles manually, but for smaller battles, it might be worth getting it out of the way quickly so you can focus on the bigger picture. No matter how you choose to engage with the battle, it's never a bad idea to click the quick save button down on the right. If a battle ever looks like it won't be going in your favor, you can also retreat and disengage from the enemy by clicking this button here. When sieging a settlement, you will also have the option to encircle that settlement and wait for them to attack you instead. The number listed in the upper left indicates how many turns you must maintain the encircle in order to destroy the enemy's garrison. However, that garrison can always choose to come and meet you out on the battlefield instead. The number next to that indicates the amount of supplies that the settlement has in order to bolster their defenses. And if you have any siege equipment available, they will also be listed on this panel. Immediately upon entering into combat, you will have the option to deploy your units. During this time is not running, so take your time and carefully consider where you want your units to begin the fight. Claiming the high ground or at the end of a choke point can give you an immediate advantage. But while deploying, be sure to consider who is on the offensive and who's on the defensive. Setting up in a strong defensive position won't help as much if you are the one making the assault. If you want to get very specific with how your units line up, you can right-click and hold on the ground to adjust the facing of that unit, as well as how many individuals deep that unit will line up with. This can be advantageous when, for example, trying to fill a choke point. Once you are done deploying your units, clicking the Begin Battle button at the top of the screen will initiate combat. Combat in Total War III is real-time with pause. This means that everything is happening in real time. However, in the upper right corner are the time controls. You can have the battle run at many different speeds, either slow, regular, double, or triple, or again, a full stop pause. Being able to control the camera is vital to getting a full and clear view of what is going on. You can pan the camera around with WASD and rotate the camera by holding the middle mouse button and moving the mouse. Scrolling the mouse wheel can adjust camera height, and scrolling way up will give you the tactical view to give you a super wide shot of the entire theater of war. Units are selected as the entire unit group, rather than any one specific individual warrior. Left-clicking on any unit will select the entire unit. You can also shift-click to select multiple units, either on the battlefield or from their info cards. Right-clicking on the ground will move any selected unit to that location. Units will automatically pathfind to their selected destination. However, holding Shift and dragging right-click will set up a path for that unit to follow. This is great for setting up a flanking maneuver, for example. This is one of the easiest ways to really up your combat game. And you can always hold the spacebar to see where each unit is currently moving to. Right-clicking on an enemy unit will have your selected unit engage them in combat. In the upper right of the battle screen is the minimap. This is a great way to get a sense of the positions of all the combatants. You can increase the size of the minimap by clicking and dragging on the corner. This is essential on especially large battle maps. Along the bottom of the screen is your unit panel. If a unit has any special condition, like being hidden from the enemy, it will be shown here. From here, you can get a very good sense of how your army is doing at a glance. This panel shows how many individuals are currently alive within each unit, what they are currently doing, their experience level, how much ammunition they have remaining, as well as their current morale. You won't always have to slay every individual to the last one standing. Often, a unit's morale will falter and they will rout and run away if they get the sense that they cannot win this battle. This is determined by that unit's leadership, and for enemies is indicated by the color of their banner. For your units, you can also see if they are starting to falter when their unit card begins to flash white. If it loses all color, that means they are currently fleeing. While a unit is fleeing, they will not respond to any orders. However, they can occasionally rally and rejoin the fight. As your army gets larger, it can become unwieldy to command each unit individually. Setting up unit groups is a great way to simplify giving commands. By selecting multiple units and clicking the Group button, those units will join together into a unit group, as indicated by the tab over them. Clicking on this tab will select all of the units as one single group. You could set up unit groups for your melee or missile units, or perhaps different groups for each attacking flank, or whatever else happens to make sense for that specific combat. Heroes in combat are forces to be reckoned with. Not only are they incredibly strong combatants in their own right, but they will also have special abilities that they can unleash. To activate any of the hero's special abilities, click on that hero, then on any of the abilities icon which will surround their profile picture. Hovering over any of the ability buttons will show the details of that ability. This includes the ability's effect, its duration, and cooldown. Keeping an eye on your ability's cooldowns and deploying them at the right moment is vital to being a strong combatant. Even in victory, a combat might not have gone as well as you expected. After even a victorious combat, you will be given the option of a rematch, just in case you want to try again for a less Pyrrhic victory with hopefully fewer casualties. After combat, you'll be presented with the post-combat summary screen. On this screen, you will see how many casualties both sides have suffered, their rewards gained, and post-battle options. These post-battle options give you choices on what to do with your captives. Each button at the bottom will give different bonuses, and this can be bonus experience, replenishing your army, or your treasury, or more. It's up to you to determine what to do with your spoils of war. If you successfully assaulted an enemy settlement, you will have the option to occupy that settlement and bring it under your control. As you engage in combat throughout the campaign, you will need to start to replenish your army. Clicking on the Recruit button of your hero panel on the map will open up the recruitment panel. From here, you can recruit new units into that hero's army by clicking on the unit card in the recruitment panel. Each unit to be recruited will show the one-time cost of recruiting that unit, as well as the upkeep cost that unit will require each turn, and how many turns it will take to recruit that unit. Each hero can only recruit a certain number of units per turn. This is indicated by the squares at the top of the recruitment panel. When you click on a unit card to recruit it, they will appear in your army panel with the hourglass icon, showing how many turns remaining until they are fully recruited. At the top of the army panel is listed the current number of units in that army, including units currently being recruited, as well as that army's current maximum of units. While it is great to have a massive army, doing so will increase the upkeep costs you must spend each turn. So be sure to have a strong and stable economy by upgrading and improving your settlements in order to maintain having a large army. Another way to customize your kingdom's grand strategy is through technology and research. You will be able to research new technologies by clicking on this button here. From the technology screen, you can begin research on any of the technologies which are not currently grayed out. Most technologies provide passive buffs to your army or economy as a whole. The number of turns required to complete each research is listed with the hourglass icon next to that technology card. Looking ahead to see which technologies might benefit you best, then researching those technologies that you need to get there is key to long-term success. As we stated earlier, Total War III does have a lot of different systems all in one, and it can be a little overwhelming for new players. Hopefully, this video provided a good broad overview of everything you'll need to know to get started playing Total War III. It's a supremely satisfying game once you really get the hang of it, and can satisfy the most die-hard strategy fans. As of this video going live, Total War III is currently offering a free weekend, up through the 14th. So check the link in this description to go check the game out right now. If you found this video at all helpful, please let us know by giving the video a like. I am Matt with Bowls. Thanks for watching. Bye.